Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Strive for Excellence. Strive for Excellence is an educational platform for students who want to excel in their life. This channel will help you out to understand the subjects more easily with greater ease. But before starting my today's video, first of all, I will thank you for your kind support which you are giving me in the previous two videos. Do share my video with your friends also, and your comments are always welcome. Suggest me the topic which you want so that I can help you out. Let's start today's video. It's about the Egyptian civilization. But before starting it, let's recall what we have done in part 1. I have discussed about the location and origin of the Egyptian civilization, history of ancient Egypt, characteristics of the Egyptian civilization, which includes town planning, buildings, architecture and engineering, society, food and dress. And today we are going to continue further with the characteristics of the Egyptian civilization. So now let's see what are the topics for today's video. So our topics are occupation, agriculture, domestication of animals, art and craft, medicine, trade, writing, religion, achievements of the Egyptian civilization and decline of the Egyptian civilization. We will learn about these detail-wise in the coming slide one by one. So now let's start our topic, that is occupation. But before that, there are so many hard words in this topic. Let's see what are the keywords so that it will be easy for us to understand this chapter in a greater ease. Mummification. Mummification is the preservation of dead bodies by embalming them. The preserved dead bodies are known as mummies, or very famously we known as the Egyptian mummies. Hieroglyphic script. Hieroglyphic script was a system of writing which was developed by the Egyptians. Basically, the hieroglyphic means sacred writing. Ra. Ra was the sun god of the Egyptian civilization, which plays a very important role in the ancient Egyptian civilization. Osiris. Osiris also was the god of the dead. Ptolemy was one of the generals of Alexander the Great, and he was the founder of the last dynasty of Egypt. So these are few words which you are going to come across in the coming slides, and in the detailed version we are going to learn about them in coming slides. So let's start our topic, that is occupation. Occupation. The first one is agriculture. The chief occupation of the Egyptians was agriculture. Why? Because the fertile soil, the abundant supply of water from the Nile and a vast irrigation network enabled them to grow the crops throughout the year. That is why the chief occupation of the Egyptians were agriculture. Their chief crops were wheat, barley and millet. Not only the crops, vegetables and fruits such as dates, apples, peaches and figs were also grown there. Second one, domestication of animals. Animals such as cows, sheep, goats, donkeys, camels and birds such as doves and geese were domesticated, and they actually helped the Egyptian in their work. Third one is art and craft. The craftspeople worked very hard to satisfy the demands and expensive tastes of the aristocratic and priestly classes. That's why we say the Egyptian civilization has very good taste, whether it's a jewelry, whether it's their dresses or their art and the craft. They have their own good taste among all the art and the craft. There were skilled craftspeople such as the potters, the goldsmiths, carpenters, weavers, sculptors and the painters. Not only this, the sculptors carved the large stone, that is the statues of the kings and the gods, while the artists, what they do, they decorated the tomb walls with the exquisite paintings, with the nice paintings. These paintings actually tell us the great deal about the lifestyle of the early Egyptians, and we come across with so many beautiful monuments. Not only this, the Egyptians built a number of magnificent temples with the pillared halls. The walls and the pillars were decorated with the beautiful paintings of humans, animals, and birds. So, isn't it very interesting to know the Egyptian civilization more and more? So, let's move to the next topic. Medicine. Egyptian doctors and surgeons were renowned for their skill. Why they are so much famous for their skill? Because of the advanced and elaborate technique which is used in mummification, or we can say embalming an Egyptian corpus, showed that the Egyptian had a deep knowledge of the human body and its system. In the given figure, you can see how an ancient Egyptians are engraving or depicting doctors are embalming a corpus. It means they are putting a bandage on the dead bodies so that they can preserve it for the future. Doctors mainly here are the priests which are specialized in the treatment of eyes, teeth and other parts of the body. Next topic is trade. Trade was carried on both by land as well as sea routes. For internal trade, goods were transported by boats and barges along the Nile and by road on camels and donkeys. So they domesticate the animals, the camels and the donkeys for this purpose. For foreign trade, the Egyptians built the world's first seafaring ships. They also do the importing and the exporting of their goods. They exported the linen, wheat, glassware, jewelry and furniture. In the same manner, they imported gold, ivory, copper and cedar wood. The king controlled the foreign trade and the barter system was used, and the medium of exchanges was usually the grain, silver and copper. Next, move to the next topic. So our next topic is writing. The Egyptians developed a form of writing that is known as hieroglyphic script, basically which means a sacred writing. They used pictorial symbols for various objects and creatures to denote letters. Do you know that each picture stood for a separate word? It means if there are 5 pictures, it is having a separate word. So, about 2000 picture signs have been found on ancient pyramids and temples. Later, they developed a simplified alphabet which had 24 consonants and there are no vowels. Imagine there are no vowels that time. So this is what about hieroglyphic script. You can see the picture given below, how the symbols, or we can say the pictorial symbols of various creatures to denote the letters. Imaginary, or we can say a very beautifully way of representing the letters or the depicting their words in the beautiful way. So this is all about hieroglyphic script. Let's move to the religion. The Egyptians worship many gods and goddesses which are connected with nature. Ra, the sun god, and Osiris, the god of the dead, were among the most important gods. Not only this, the pharaohs were also worshipped as gods. Each god had his or her own temple and priest. Every city, town and village had its own favorite god. We can also say that certain animals and birds such as the jackal, the crocodile, the bull and the hawk were also worshipped. Not only this, the Egyptians believed in life after death. That is why they preserved the body of the dead. A dead body was embalmed with the spices and wrapped in fine linen, which I have already discussed in the mummification. Such a preserved body is known as mummy. Food, wine, clothes, furniture, jewelry and weapons were put into the tombs the pyramids were the tombs of the pharaohs. So like this, they actually preserved the bodies, and they also put the food, the wine, or we can say jewelry and the weapons into the tombs. Now, this is all about the occupation, religion, writing of the Egyptian civilization. Now let's move and see what are the achievements of the Egyptian civilization. Achievements of the Egyptian civilization. The Egyptians had made important contribution in various fields. Not only one field, they have actually contributed in the many fields. Let us see one by one what are those fields. The very first one is the Egyptians wrote on stone, walls and clay tablets. Later they used the paper which they made from papyrus, a water reed. Second one is the Egyptians wrote from right to left by using a reed sharpened at the end. Not only this, they used the ink made of soot, gum and water. Third one. The Egyptians introduced the world's first solar calendar. Yes, they found that the average time between the two annual floods was 365 days. That is why the year was divided into 12 months, which consisting of 30 days. So each month is consisting of how many days? 30 days. And the remaining 5 days were used for celebrating the religious festivals. Not only this, a highly advanced system of mathematics was developed by the Egyptians to deal with the tasks, such as the construction of pyramids and other monuments. Not only this, they have also done the land survey and the calculation of the revenue. Next one is the need to calculate the time of the annual floods lead to the development of astronomy. The Egyptians were the first to make an instrument to observe the movements of stars and planets. They also invented the water clock to read the time at night. The last achievement of the Egyptian civilization, which is very much important, is that the Egyptian mummies, which are prepared thousands of years ago and are still well preserved. This is the proof of their advanced knowledge of medicine and human anatomy. They were also credited with having a large knowledge about the medical diagnosis. So yes, these are all about the achievements of the Egyptian civilization. So you must be thinking now, when this Egyptian civilization is so much flourished and they have contributed in various fields, then what is the reason for their decline? So let's see that. Decline of the Egyptian civilization. The decline of the Egyptian empire set in with the collapse of the New Kingdom. By 1000 BCE, the glory and the splendor of the Egyptian empire had declined. Why? Because the foreign invasions and the internal revolts weakened the empire and reduced it to a shadow of its former self. Not only this, Egypt was repeatedly invaded by the Babylonians, Assyrians, Persians, and finally by the Alexander the Great. Alexander founded the city of Alexandria. It later became one of the greatest culture centers of the ancient world during the reign of Ptolemy. Ptolemy is one of the generals of Alexander's, and he was the founder of the last dynasty of Egypt. So all these invasions which are done by Babylonians, Assyrians, Persians, they actually invaded this Egyptian civilization, and here there comes the collapse of the New Kingdom. Not only this, later on Alexander plays a very important role in repeatedly invading the Egyptian civilization. That's why the Herodotus, writing in the 5th century, observed that there is no country that possesses so many wonders, nor any that has successfully number of works which defy the description. So here we are ending with the decline of the Egyptian civilization. So guys, here we end our topic, that is Egyptian civilization. I hope you enjoyed it and understand the chapter Egyptian civilization very nicely. Stay home, stay safe and stay connected for more updates. Kindly like and subscribe my channel. I will be waiting for your response and do comment and share with your friends. Thank you.